What's going on, guys? This is Lorcana Bro with an Emerald Steel deck tech. Emerald Steel has been picking up a lot of steam lately, getting 3rd place in the recent Tea Beastie event and taking 1st place in Manticore's monthly, knocking me out in the top 8 while I was playing Amber Steel. Given the results, I had to take it for a spin. After playing with a bit of the winning list, I made several adjustments to the deck based on the expected meta and started jamming games. I'm new to the deck and don't claim to be an expert by any means, but I had some fairly strong success with a 72% win rate in over 43 games. I also used the list to climb to the number 6 spot on the hardcore ranked leaderboard, jumping from 1400 elo to 1536. Let's talk about some of the deck's ideal starts. On the play, you're able to lead out with some very aggressive starts with a turn 1 Curse Merfolk and turn 2 Flynn Rider. This opening allows you to follow up with any of our powerful 3-drops. Prince John will allow you to draw cards when your Merfolk and Flynn are challenged. Kit Cloudkicker can return your opponent's early game characters to clear the way for Merfolk and Flynn to continue questing. This card especially shines in the mirror match to return an opposing Ursula Deceiver of All to the hand. Ursula Deceiver of All can be a powerful singing threat to further attack your opponent's hand with discard or to keep the opposing board clear with your removal. This opening can also be effective on the draw, but a more ideal opening will be a bit more defensive. On the draw, we are looking to deploy turn 1 Robin Hood into turn 2 Ursula or Baboom to either attack their hand or reduce their early board pressure. On turn 3, we have several defensive options, including Ursula Deceiver of All to provide song pressure, Kit Cloudkicker to slow down their start, or Shift Robin Hood to drop a large threat down early that is capable of singing and then along came Zeus. The deck has some really nice value engines that function as both offensive and defensive tools. We mentioned Ursula with the song package that can double sing damage-based removal songs to keep the opposing board clear, or to sing Sudden Chill to force the opponent to discard 2 cards. Sudden Chill can be paired with Prince John to create a 4-card swing where your opponent discards 2 cards and you draw 2. Prince John can be paired with any of your cards that attack your opponent's hand, allowing you to continue to draw cards to reduce their hand size to 0 while maintaining enough gas to also deal with their board. All of these pieces together create your general premise to win the game. Deploy cheap and early threats, manage their board state and hand during the mid-game, and incrementally quest to 20. This deck is capable of some extremely fast starts while also being reasonably able to grind, and you'll see both of these scenarios come into play in the upcoming matches. I registered this deck for the Mishi Monday online tournament, which is a 32-player $10 online tournament that was played with the new best of 2 format. Despite being newer to the deck and making some misplays along the way, I was able to pilot the deck to a 4th place finish with an overall record of 7-3. Let's go ahead and get into the matches, and if you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe as it really helps the channel out. Alright guys, this is the first round of Mishi Mondays. It is a 5-round tournament, $10 buy-in, and it's the best of 2 format. So, with this opening hand, we're on the play. We have a really nice curve, 1, 2, 3, and a song. So I honestly think I'm just going to keep it exactly like this. And we'll go ahead and play Robin Hood on turn 1. The reason I inked the Ursula there is we're going to play Flynn on turn 2, Ursula on turn 3, and Friar Tuck on turn 4 ideally, so there's just not going to be a window for us to play that Ursula. Okay, it looks like we're playing against the mirror. This is a great draw. It allows us to sing with our Ursula. So now I'm trying to think about what I want to ink. If I did want to play 2, 3, 4, and I want the availability of both of these songs to be played in future turns, I would have to ink Beast. So I think we're going to do that. We're going to play the Flynn Rider, and we are just going to quest with the Robin Hood. Since we don't have our shift line available to us, we can just allow for the trade. Here will be really punishing for us if they play Ursula 2-drop to tag a song out of our hand. Okay, they play Baboom. Killing our Flynn Rider is pretty good. Alright, we draw another Ursula, so we're going to ink that one and go ahead and play this one. Now, if they don't have their own 2-drop Ursula, okay, they do, so they're going to take a song from us. And that one makes sense since we don't have a lot of characters to utilize our strength. So I think I'm just gonna spend a turn here playing this Prince John, and this will set up for a nice Friar Tuck turn next turn. So we're gonna go ahead and pass with 2 cards. And hope that they're not able to discard both of them out of our hand. The nice thing here is if they Friar Tuck, we will both have to discard a card. Okay, Storm Rage on to hit this Ursula. And then they're just going to quest here. So if we draw an Inkable, which we did not, so we can't play the Friar Tuck and the Strength of a Raging Fire. So I think I just want to develop this Prince John again and hope that they're not able to banish our Ursula. Okay, they are, which is still not terrible because we can still sing Raging Fire with Prince John. And drawing 2 cards off of a Friar Tuck will be a pretty big game for us. Yeah, we'll discard a Raging Fire and just hope to draw an Inkable. Yep, and we do draw the Inkable. So this is a really nice position for us now. We have them with no cards in their hand, and we have a better board position. So here, we can even just take out the Cursed Merfolk, sacrificing this Robin Hood. And we're also safe to just quest with our Prince John here. They do tag our Friar Tuck from our hand. Now it's going to be a top deck battle. Okay, so they do attack, which is pretty interesting. I'm definitely playing the Let the Storm Rage on. I'm wondering if I want to hardcast it, sing it with this Prince John, or sing it with Friar Tuck. I think I'm going to sing it with this Prince John. Well, they both quest for 2. It's exactly the same either way, so it doesn't matter. We draw another one. We'll go ahead and we just want to like play something. There we go. And we're not going to quest with this Prince John because that will allow a trade for them. Alright, so we could play this Robin Hood out, or we can just ink it so we have 5 ink. I think I'd prefer at this point to just ink it so we're set up for 5 ink, which several of our cards do cost 5. Wildcat only quests for 1. I don't think I'm ready to trade my Flynn Rider just yet. Basically, any of these that I quest with, the Wildcat can just attack. Actually, I think it's just worth it to start racing. They're not going to have any cards in their hand for me to discard with these Prince Johns, so they've served their purpose. At this point, we just want to attack that to quest as much as we can. Okay, Baboom is an excellent card to just... Honestly, if we pick off the Wildcat, we win the race. So I think we're actually just going to do that. And here we won't quest with our Prince John because that allows them to trade into it with their Flynn Rider. And that would only put us to 19. If we quest here and then we quest for 4, it's only 19. I'd rather just keep the Prince John around. Okay, we got super punished for doing that. We're just going to play this out and pass the turn, but that Grab Your Swords was a really nice top deck for them. I'm not questing, it just lets them trade here, and I would rather them not be able to trade just yet, or it won't trade, they'll just actually get to eat it. But next turn it will trade if they quest. Okay, so now they chose not to quest, so we're just going to quest with our Robin Hood. This is essentially a trade with their Mr. Smee. And now we're just going to quest out and play the Curse Merfolk and hope that's enough to cross the finish line. Grab Your Swords here would be absolutely devastating. Okay, that's pretty good too. They get to banish 2 characters. So it's going to be both of our 2 questers, and then I'm guessing they're going to trade with the... It doesn't matter which one they trade with. We got very punished for not questing with our Prince John that one turn where they drew the Grab Your Swords. Had we quested there, we actually would have won this game already. Sure, another Ursula. They have to trade, and it's a trade with either one because the Smee is going to take 1 damage. it makes more sense to banish the Ursula there because both Ursulas would have to attack in otherwise. That's a great draw for me. Honestly, any character at this point is a great draw for me because it represents an immediate answer that they have to destroy or we're going to win this game. So we need to fade basically a song that Ursula could double sing. If they draw that, we're in big trouble. All right, so we got this game. But that grab your swords really did mess us up. All right, so this is game 2, so we'll be on the draw for this game. So here, these Ursulas are really good in this matchup to tag their removal, and this Ursula is obviously very powerful. So I think we're just going to keep this exactly as it is, keeping the Daisy for some guaranteed ink. Alright, so they're starting with the Captain Hook, so a bit of a slower start than the Cursed Merfolk. Now that we know the matchup, the Beast is a very important top-end card, so I would prefer not to ink it if we don't have to. There's Baboom coming in clutch on turn 2 there. Really nice play. Alright, so we drew an extra Ursula, so I'm going to ink this one because I think if they might have multiple songs. Alright, so they didn't have multiple songs. So we can now know that we can ink this one. It'll be interesting to see what they do now that they don't have a song for their Ursula Deceiver. Yeah, they're not even going to play that on their turn 3. They're just going to go for the other Ursula instead, which they also had 2 of these in their hand. So I'm going to preemptively ink this one to play around their Deceiver. Well, now I'm not going to ink that one because I want them to deceive and take one card, and I will sing the other. Now they're most likely going to take the Storm Rage on because that represents a draw 2 for me. Yes. So this is another interesting spot. I'm not too particularly concerned with any of these characters. I know one of their cards is an Ursula Deceiver. I think I'm going to wait a turn, inking Benja, trying to play Beast Tragic Hero, and then I can double sing that on hopefully a better threat that they'll play this turn. Although they might not want to deploy that threat because they know I have the Raging Fire. It's a bit of a risky line because if they do find any kind of way to attack my hand, I'm going to most likely have to lose this card. Yeah, I still think that the Beast Tragic Hero is more valuable here than this Raging Fire, so we are going to lose our Raging Fire, but had we played it last turn, then we'd be discarding our Beast Tragic Hero instead. So now they know it's safe to deploy their Ursula, we just need to hope that this is not a song. And this The only one that I'm really concerned with is this, and the Baboom does not actually banish it, so we're just going to ink that, play our beast, and I think we'll even just attack into this Captain Hook here. We just need to hope that this is not a Raging Fire. Storm Rage On is very powerful as well. This card only does 2 damage. If we attack into their Ursula, they get to eat ours back. So we're in not a great position. But I don't think there's anything we can really do other than attack this Ursula and pass the turn. I mean, I guess we could have dealt 2 to the Ursula, attacked with our Ursula, but that doesn't put us in really a much better position either. Okay, so they have a 5-drop. Kuzco. Pretty interesting include. I think we really put ourselves in a really great position to win this by waiting a turn to play the beast and then double singing the removal, and they were just able to make us discard a card, and that was pretty much the game right there. So here we'll go ahead and banish the Smee and quest for 1. Without an answer to their Kuzco, this game is looking pretty much over. And this is actually not an answer, so that we'll go ahead and just pass the turn and let them lure and win out the game. So we're going to go 1-1 in the first round. All right, we are going first in round 2. So we have some nice elements in our opening hand. We don't have a turn 1 play. So I think we're going to get rid of both of these Beast Tragic Heroes. They're a bit too slow for our opening hand, and try and find a 1-drop. Alright, we don't find a 1-drop, but we find an Ursula here. So I think we're going to ink the Baboom and keep our options open as to which one of these 2 drops we want to play. If we're playing against Amber Steel, for example, we're going to want to drop this. And even against Steel Green, we'll probably still want to drop this. It's not so much about aggression as it is about controlling their development. So they did ink a Robin Hood and played a Robin Hood. So here, I do think I just want to ink this Flynn Rider and take a look at their hand. This also sets up, it is Amber Steel. So we'll go ahead and just take a quick little look at their hand. And take the Raging Fire. They played, interestingly enough, they had the Queen with Shift Queen, and they chose not to play it. They chose instead to play Robin Hood. We do need to draw an inkable here. If not, we're probably just going to have to ink this Ursula to play the Prince John, or at least play one of the Storm Rage Ons. Okay, ink another song, Bare Necessity, so that's a draw for the turn to play the Cinderella and the Queen. Okay, we did draw an inkable. So here the remaining cards are Cinderella, Big Cindy, Big Queen, and Ariel. if they draw Aerial, finding Strength of a Raging Fire, they can kill my Ursula. But since we've already discarded one, the chances of that are not super high. So I'm going to take a risk here and just play this out, knowing that if they find a Strength of the Raging Fire and able to banish this, we lose. Alternatively, I could have let the Storm Rage on the Cinderella to stop the singing shenanigans. Yep, there's the Aerial. Amber Steel is probably the worst matchup for this deck. They failed to find on Aerial. That's very good news for us. Now we know their last two cards are Big Cinderella and Big Queen, so we can go ahead and take out both of these shift targets. We're going to do that first, because if we draw an Inkable, which we do, we can now also play Along Came Zeus on their Aerial. This basically protects my Ursula unless they draw exactly Shift Robin Hood. We know they have Big Cinderella and Big Queen left, so they need to draw something. That makes me, oh, they did not. I thought that would mean that they drew Let the Storm Rage on. They did not, or they didn't play it. We're just going to play the Beast Tragic Hero here. Start drawing some cards. Alright, another Big Cinderella. And they're going to play a Grab Your Sword. So that was the card they drew last turn. Pretty good at shutting off all of this aggression. But now we're just going to go pretty fast here. There's the Queen. So we do not know that any cards in their hand anymore. Gonna go ahead and just deal 2 damage here, hoping to draw another damage source. We don't, but we can still go ahead and play Robin Hood and just quest out with the squad. Okay, another Queen. Not going to do it. They're going to have to attack into something here, and everything they attack into is a trade because of the 2 damage that we put on it. Alright, great draw. We're just going to keep the aggression going and play another Beast. We could play Prince John and Curse Merfolk, but our board is already relatively soft to grab your swords. I'd rather just play another big body that also quests for 2 to insulate our board from that damage-based removal. Okay, Storm Rage on. Likely won't be enough. Alright, and looks like we're going to take game 1. Alright, we're on the draw against Amber Steel. This is one of our toughest matchups. We're really looking for Ursula Deceiver 2-drop to tag songs out of their hand, so I think I'm basically going to put everything back except this Robin Hood in an attempt to look for that Ursula. Wrong Ursula, but still pairs very nicely with the removal we got. So the scariest play for us is either Cinderella Singer or the Queen. This means they won't be shifting until at the very latest turn 3. I'm going to ink one of these extra Ursulas. The reason is, if they are able to remove the Robin Hood, I would prefer to get both of them out there. So even if they remove one, I can shift. This will get punished by shift Robin Hood Sing Grab Your Swords. But it's more likely that they'll shift Robin Hood Sing Storm Rage On or Strength of a Raging Fire than Grab Your Swords. So we can't play around both things. We're just going to play around one. It's also possible they just hold New World us right here. So we want to dump our board as much as we possibly can. All right, shift Queen into Whole New World, most likely. Into the Grab Your Sword. So that is very devastating for us. Now we are on this Ursula backup plan. So we're going to ink one of the strengths and just play this Ursula. If they have a Whole New World and are able to gas back up after that Grab Your Swords, that's just completely devastating for us. But otherwise, we might still be in this game with the Let the Storm Rage On. Failed to find into Whole New World? Oh, Strength of Raging Fire. Alright, so we've got some good news and some bad news. The good news is they are out of gas. The bad news is they have a pretty decent board and we don't have much in the way of dealing with it. Strength of a Raging Fire doesn't do anything immediately right now, but it might over future turns, where Ursula is likely never to hit anything out of their hand because they're most likely going to ink or play the card. So I'm just going to ink the Ursula to set up to play either the Robin Hood or the Beast next turn. And we might end up just inking Strength of a Raging Fire anyways. Whole New World would be devastating here. Okay, they ink a Cinderella. Kit Cloud Kicker is not what we want. We don't want to be bouncing their aerials. So here, so actually, let's spend some time talking about this. Playing Robin Hood here is a safer play because it's a 3/6. It has a much higher chance to survive into my next turn. Beast Tragic Hero, obviously, I get to draw 2 cards. It's a slightly riskier play, but has higher upside. Because we're losing right now, I'm going to go for the play that has some higher. Actually, now I'm second guessing myself. I think I'm actually going to go for the Robin Hood here to shut down their questing and then play the Beast afterwards. Okay, they're going to ink a Raging Fire. And this, like I said, this should shut down their questing. And now we can play this Beast and pass the turn here. Whole New World here would be a very powerful draw for them. They do not draw it. So now we get to start drawing 2 cards. We're going to play this character to... Okay, well now we're going to play Ursula. I'm going to go ahead and sing Strength of a Raging Fire on their Queen. And we'll quest here. Now we have Ursula set up with Let the Storm Rage On. Could ink this Beast, but I'd love to play it next turn. If they draw exactly a whole new world and wheel us away, we'll be missing an ink, so that's something to consider. It also, by inking it, would allow us to play this Prince John onto the board, but I think it's just more valuable to kind of play a slower, patient game and just hope they don't draw a whole new world. Okay, they did not draw the whole new world. I'm going to take out the Singer. And they could draw Shift Robin Hood here. I'm not particularly worried about that because they can't draw Whole New World and Shift Robin Hood. So I'm not going to use my removal on that yet. I'm just going to develop my board out here as much as I can, and we can go ahead and ink this Ursula and start questing. Well, given we have 2 removal though, no, I'm just gonna quest. So given we have 2 removal, we can just banish this and banish the next thing. Alright, so we actually managed to 2-0 that match, which in my opinion is our worst matchup, so really nice wins for us. Very lucky they did not have the Whole New World in their opening hand, and that they didn't find it with their aerial, but as an Amber Steel player myself, I know that happens all the time, so GG's. Alright, we're in round 3, and we are on the draw for this first round of the best of 2. We have a pretty nice curve here with Robin Hood, Flynn, or Baboom into Shift. We don't have any discard for this Prince John. And I do want to keep some amount of cards to ink. I think we're just going to go ahead and put this Prince John away since we don't have anything for it. Keep this Robin Hood to ink. And then we can either go Flynn or Baboom on turn 2, depending on what they're doing. Well. Okay, so we're up against blue. So let's start thinking. I'm gonna go 1, most likely 2, 3. We're just gonna ink this little hood. Play the other little hood. Okay, we are against blue-red, and they have a really nice start here. We're still just going to lead Flynn Rider, and I know they could play Queen, which will mess up our Shift Robin Hood, but if they do, we have this backup plan of Prince John into Ursula, so I think I'm okay with it. We actually might do that anyways. They do, so we're gonna go for the Prince John line. This is a pretty nice draw, potentially for next turn as well. Gaston would be a very powerful play here. Okay, that's also pretty good. I don't think it's super likely that their last card is a song, so I think I'm actually just going to ink this Ursula and play the Daisy Duck to tax their hand. It was not a song. So they're just going to play out their last card, and we're not going to be able to cause them to discard. Unfortunate there for sure. Just thinking about our options, I can either ink Strength of a Raging Fire to play one of these 5 drops, or ink one of the 5 drops. Basically, if I ink I think we just have to ink Strength of a Raging Fire. Play out the beast, and still I'm not going to expose the daisy because they're likely going to draw 2 additional cards here, and if they're not able to deploy all of them, we still can potentially get some value. Especially if they draw like a Be Prepared, it's a bit of an awkward position for them. Okay, well, it's Maui. We're just in a terrible spot here. Or not Maui, it's Tamatoa. Okay, so we're going to be able to get some value off this Daisy Duck. But it might... Honestly, it's probably too late. We're just going to see what we can do here. We could go 3, 4, 5, 6. Which is another option. Or we could go 3 Sing with the Daisy Duck. I think we definitely have to remove the Flavisham from the battlefield this turn, because it just represents way too much card draw. We will make them discard 1 card here. They've got us on the back foot here for sure. I was really hoping they wouldn't attack my beast so it could have 7 power to trade into something. Really smart of them to go ahead and just take that off the battlefield. And once again, we're just in a position where we don't really have any answers to the Tamatoa. And that's backbreaking. Going up to 7 here. Basically, they've just got us locked out of the game. I mean, we can play this. Make them discard, draw. Problem with questing is they just get to take out both of our characters, and we didn't even draw an Inkable. Yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and go to next game. There's no way out of this for us. We just kind of got rolled. Okay, so we have a really strong start against them. We have Merfolk into Flynn into Ursula with songs and item destruction. I think we're just gonna get rid of this removal and probably just keep this beast for ink. In this matchup, this is pretty much our ideal situation. So we'll ink the beast. We're just very far off for that. And that's why we kept it in our opening hand. Not what we're wanting to see, but we'll just go ahead and ink Ursula, play Flynn. So here we would love an inkable, so we don't have to ink Benja or Sudden Chill. Because next turn I would like to play Ursula, and then the following turn play Benja and double sing Sudden Chill. Okay, so we did draw an ink. So we're gonna get that Ursula down, and we can quest for 4. Them not having the turn 2 Queen of Hearts is really big for us because we've gained 4 lore off of this Cursed Merfolk already. They don't have an answer to it here, it'll be 6. And here we get to now play the Benja to stifle their Fishbone Quill development. I think I want to Sudden Chill first so they don't know that they're about to lose their Benja, because if they know that their Benja's gone, that's going to influence the cards that they discard. But if they're thinking that there's a possibility that they still have their Fishbone Quill going into the next turn, they might incorrectly discard these cards. So sequencing this first is going to be pretty big for us. Them discarding a Maui is super concerning because they can play a Maui next turn. It makes me think they have another one. Alright, and to be prepared. So we are going to go ahead and Benja that Fishbone Quill. Go to 10. And probably just, we're supposed to ink this Robin Hood here. Since we're so far off from 5 anyways. But that's something I'm honestly not sure about. We've basically ran out of gas. Okay, Flavisham's a powerful card, but they won't be able to answer our board with that. I guess they will be able to attack the Cursed Merfolk with it. Okay, that's fine. More threats to just play before the beep. Alright, and we're putting them in a really tough position here. Without being able to ramp into Be Prepared, I don't think there's any card that can get them out of this. And that's certainly not going to get them out of this. And that's going to be a good game. Just a super aggro start, and they didn't have any of their early interaction to address our characters. So we're going to split that match 1-1. Okay, we're going first against Pandemonium Heart. We've got a nice 1, 2, 3 Robin Hood, Ursula into shift Robin Hood. So I think we can get rid of everything else and maybe just keep one of these little Robin Hoods for ink for turn 1. Mulligan these 3 cards. On the play, we would love to hit things like, yes, Curse Merfolk. So now, I think I'm actually going to go for a much more aggressive opening. Leading with Curse Merfolk, and next turn I could double Flynn Rider or Ursula, ultimately depending on what they're playing. Okay, Stitch. So this is looking like Flute Song. Well, I mean, it could be red-blue as well. I mean, red-yellow. But we're just going to go for the aggro double Robin Hood line here to set up either now for a shift or an Ursula. Okay, it is red-yellow. Into a Simba. So now we are in an interesting position where we could ink this Ursula to shift the Robin Hood and keep questing, or we can ink the Robin Hood to play the Ursula and try and set up for double Raging Fire. I think I do like the Ursula line a bit more, so we're just going to play that and pass the turn. If they do have the bare necessities to take this from me, that will be pretty rough. But if they're red-yellow Mufasa, they might not play it. Okay, they do have it. So that does mess up my plans. I think it's reasonable to assume that Red Fawcett might not even be playing that card. Right here, definitely just gonna shoot the dock. And also really interested in just getting this Simba off the table and questing out. We're in a bit of a rough position. They have 5 cards and we have none. We went for this really aggressive opening with the Robin Hoods, and it didn't really pan out for us. This card is very powerful against our current board because they can trade it and shoot whatever they don't trade with. For that reason, I'm just going to quest with the Cursed Merfolk and ink this Robin Hood. In hindsight, knowing they were yellow-red, I could have played this game a lot slower and not double Robin Hood, maybe just single Robin Hood to preserve my ink levels. Okay, just playing a Rapunzel for no value here. And using the Teeth and Ambitions to clear 2 characters is a really big game for them. Oh, and we drew the Let the Storm Rage On. I'm actually not going to quest. This makes me think their last card is Rapunzel, which is why they exposed the first Rapunzel. So I'm not going to give them an opportunity to play it and draw some cards. Okay, Kid Cloud Kicker is pretty interesting. Because I do have the read that they just have a second Rapunzel in their hand, I'm just going to play that out and pass the turn. Ooh, Tremaine. We'll sack the kit here. Because we do have Shift Robin Hood available to us. And we'll just play the threats we continue to draw. Man, that's a good draw. Or, I guess it wasn't a draw, that's what they had. Okay. Amazing top deck. We know they have a Rapunzel, so we just have to fade 2 draw steps on this beast. But they are questing. They're putting some nice questing pressure on us. That's a great card because you know, we really can't do anything against it. Or they get to kill our beast. So I think what we're going to do is wait 1 more turn and try and draw 3 cards here, and then we can start, you know, addressing their board. And there's the Mufasa. Wow. Really interesting to see them playing Teeth and Ambitions and the Bare Necessities in the Mufasa deck. Just really increasing their whiff potential. Here we could bounce the Prince Eric. We need to start attacking into something. The problem is they've got this Rapunzel that we bounced back. And if we tack into something with the beasts, they're going to be able to heal back. So I think what we're actually going to do here is, rather than bounce the Eric, I think we're going to go attack, Baboom, and Storm Rage on. So we can go ahead and start with the Storm Rage on. Clear this. Clear this. We can discard the Rapunzel, or just, we can always kit bounce it and later. So I think we're just gonna go ahead and clear this Prince Eric while they don't have any, you know, really great targets. And just pass the turn here. Tough spot. They're going to 14 here, unless they just want to trade here actively. I'm assuming they're thinking about if they want to attack and trade with the beast or not. I don't think they're supposed to, because I essentially will be forced to attack, you know, back into it. Okay, Doc is really not that threatening. I know the last card is still Rapunzel. And I guess now they're just wondering if they want to play the Rapunzel out. And they do. And they do attack. And so a reason to play this out is if they hit Stitch Surfer here, which they don't, but if they did, they would have drawn 2 cards. I mean, this is an amazing card to reveal on top, off the flip. Like, we don't have really any answers for this. They're questing for 7, which is not quite lethal. But we really have no ways to deal. Like, we're going to play the beast. And so if we keep the discard, We could bounce, discard the Rapunzel. We could have done that this turn too. It doesn't really change our position. But we really have no ways to answer this Chernabog except a second Along Came Zeus. And we still wouldn't be able to answer both of these characters. So I think it's just game, but we'll go ahead and pass the turn to them and see. Oh, okay. That's definitely game. Okay, the Ursula song package is really nice. This is probably a bit too slow. We could keep Robin Hood to potentially shift, but since we have Ursula already, I think we want to get rid of that. And I don't like keeping Curse Merfolk on the play. I mean, on the draw. It's more of a card that I want to play on the play. So we're really looking for like some 2-drop action. Okay, we do at least find a Baboom. Okay, we didn't see any items. I'm gonna go ahead and ink this Benja. Well, I think we're actually gonna ink the Strength of a Raging Fire since we have double Storm Rage on anyways. Just in case they go turn 2 Lantern here. Okay, they don't, and this is a really nice Baboom target for us. So now that they didn't Lantern, we're gonna go ahead and ink this Benja. And just Baboom the Gothel, and set up for a turn 3 Ursula. Doc is very good. They can power out a good 5-drop here on their next turn. But hopefully we'll be able to get some value off this Ursula before they're able to banish it. Okay, they see the bad news that they can't actually break up our Storm Rage Ons. Oh, they can break up our Storm Rage Ons. Incredible. Here, I'm not going to be able to cause them to discard this turn. I think we're just going to ink the Prince John and play the Daisy. That really taxes them to dump their hand before the Daisy quests and get some value. And if they do dump their hand, we can always use the Daisy to sing Along Came Zeus. Double Bare Necessities there was pretty brutal. Jumping into Medusa is actually really rough for us. I think they're supposed to target the Daisy here. If they don't, we get to sing and make them discard their last card with Friar Tuck. And they do make the right call there. Okay, so now we actually can't make them discard. I'm not super worried about this card though. Like, they get to lore. I can't really play Friar Tuck either. It would force me to discard. Man, double Bare Necessities really got us good. Let's think if there's a way out of this. Basically, I've got to get these uninkables out of my hand in order to profitably use this Friar Tuck. So I think we're actually going to use the dock to stifle, or shoot the dock to stifle their board development and pass the turn here. It's a really good card for them. As long as we do draw an Inkable, we can cause them to discard one of these 2 cards off of our Friar Tuck. A bit of a misstep for them there, because now I could just I could ink this and play this and have us both discard. I think off that draw though, it's just going to be a lot more valuable for us to play this Beast Tragic Hero to try and bring us back into this game. This does represent a ton of value. We do have a lot of removal on our deck that can hopefully remove it before it runs away with too much value. We do have our own beasts as well, giving us value. So we know they have a Rapunzel, so I guess the only decision they can really be making is if they want to ink their other card and quest with their Tinkerbell. Okay, we drew really great here. So we can basically double shoot Pongo. Okay, so actually, they have a Rapunzel in their hand. We definitely want to put 2 on the Pongo, but I'm thinking that I might just want to put 2 on the Medusa and then shoot the Medusa anyways. Thing is, if I do that, this is exerted and they can just attack in, put 2 damage on it, and then play their Rapunzel. So I think we still just put 2 damage on it. They'll get the heals for 2 either way. We also will draw some cards and see if it changes our decision at all. We got some really nice draws here to kind of break up their action. We do know they have the ability to essentially draw 2 and then maybe attack into our beast, but it was a really nice turn for us. Okay, Mother Gothel to draw 3. So it actually didn't matter putting damage on the Tinkerbell. I'm assuming they're wondering if they should attack this Tinkerbell into our beast just to shut off the card draw. I think that's a reasonable choice. I would prefer them not to do that, so I guess it's the right thing to do. And they are thinking about it. They're hovering over that beast, and they do attack into it. So here, I think we can just go ahead. I assume they don't have any more songs. They just inked a Teeth and Ambitions, but we will take a look. They have another Rapunzel and a Chernabog, which is really scary for us. And because of that, we're not really in a position to be able to quest, or they'll be able to attack, draw 3 cards off their Rapunzel. So I think we're just going to have to sit back. How much? The Chernabog is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards. So it's going to cost 5, the majority of their turn. I think we're in a position where we just have to pass. We could ink this Benja, but I might want to keep it for a position where we are just looking to go wide. So we're going to pass the turn here and see what they do. Chernabog, a really difficult card for us to deal with. Okay, so they do play the Chernabog, and now they can start questing freely with their characters because they can just attack into the Chernabog and draw cards with Rapunzel. So we'd really love to draw anything that can attack their hand and cause them to discard some cards. We do have the Friar Tuck already, but if we can find a way to cause them to discard both cards this turn, then we don't have to worry about the Rapunzel anymore. Unfortunately, we don't find a way to cause them to discard both cards this turn. But we can play the Daisy, which is just basically going to force them to dump their hand anyways. And we're still going to pass the turn here. If they do quest with their Chernabog, we can have our Beast trade with Beast plus Baboom trade with it. So if they quest out, we can pretty much obliterate their board. So we're just going to pass the turn back here and force them to continue to develop their board, or we can attack their hand. The worst card for us would be something like Lady Tremaine, or not, Madame Medusa. I always get those two mixed up. The worst card for us would definitely be Madame Medusa, targeting our Beast. Okay, Prince Eric's pretty powerful, but also not that big of a deal. They do play out their other Rapunzel, just out of fear of us attacking their hand. So we don't have to worry about that anymore from a healing perspective. But now it makes sense that they're going to aggressively quest out from here. We need to start addressing their board. Okay, I think leading Prince John is pretty reasonable here just to draw us an additional card. So a quest with the Daisy, make them discard a card, which allows us to draw two. Hopefully we can draw some nice removal. We do find some very nice removal here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 characters. So we can delete the Chernabog with... Oh, we can actually just play both of these characters to delete the Chernabog. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Go ahead and attack that Chernabog. Probably just this. So it could be the Ariel or the Mother Gothel. I think I'm more concerned about, the Rapunzel or the Mother Gothel, not Ariel. I think I'm more concerned with the Mother Gothel here, just because it has better stats. So we can just go ahead and get rid of that. this damaged beast can go at their Rapunzel. And this other undamaged beast, which is going to die to their Prince Eric anyways, can go at their Pluto. Here, we can now go ahead and just quest. It's a really nice board position, really nice draws there. So here, I mean, they actually can't even trade with anything unless they could go attack beast, trade, shoot other beast. That's not going to do much for them, and we do have the Baboom rolled up for their Mother Gothel as well. Okay, so they did go for a trade, but this leaves us with our beast still, which can now go after the Rapunzel. Can go ahead and Baboom the Mother Gothel. Very curious if they play Be Prepared. I'm going to actually respect the possibility of a Be Prepared here, even though it's very unlikely, and just not play anything. Alright, we got game 2, so we split the match 1-1. Alright guys, this is round 5. Unfortunately, we had some technical issues in the first game and I wasn't able to capture it, but we did win on the play. We're against Red-Blue, so let's go into the second match against Red-Blue on the draw. Alright, we are against Red-Blue. So we're really not looking for these Robin Hood or Kit lines. We're really looking for discard and aggression. So we're going to keep the Sudden Chill and the Friar Tuck and look for some more discard-based cards. We don't find anything. We would have loved to see Flynn Rider or Cursed Merfolk. We don't see any of those, and we don't have a turn 1 play, so this is a bit rough. That could be a good one. We'll go ahead and ink this Robin Hood. And we'll probably just play turn 2 Ursula. I mean, we'll definitely just do that. We have no other option. Okay, that is really nice. We didn't have a really solid turn 3 play. Now we do. Oh, and we do manage to tag a song. Maui, McDuck, Develop Your Brain, and Tala. Okay, so they got Maui, McDuck, and Tala. And there's the Tala. Makes sense. So here, well, I was going to just play this Prince John. Now I think we just play this Ursula and play the Prince John next turn, and we can just nuke their hand away. They're most likely going to just play the McDuck Manor here. It presents a very large lore threat for them. Yep, there's the McDuck Manor. The good news is we will delete their entire hand, and now we just have to deal with what they have on the board. Okay, so here, I'm going to keep the Sudden Chill. We're never going to be able to successfully Friar Tuck them since we have so many more cards. So we're going to ink this and play the Cursed Merfolk here. Now, if we're able to either address the McDuck Manor or just race it, we'll be in good shape. Okay, so they chose not to play their card. We're definitely going to punish that. Okay, that makes sense why they weren't able to do anything with it. I do want to clear the Tala. And here we can just play the Daisy Duck. And now we can just comfortably race this McDuck Manor. And we got the match 2-0, easy peasy. And that's going to do it for the tournament today. We finished in 4th place with a record of 2-0-3. That means we 2-0'd 2 of our matches, we split 1-1 in the other 3 matches. And that results in a final record of 7-3. If you made it this far and enjoy the content, please like and subscribe, as that really helps this channel. Keep gaining lore, and I'll see you next time.